Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella. Discover the dark side of love in this goth and lovely romance with Spinsterella. Get Spinsterella in paperback and e-readers at your favorite online bookseller today. One of the biggest missed opportunities in Hollywood was having Halle Berry star in a romantic comedy with a black male lead. Now, Halle Berry was considered to be one of the most beautiful women in the world during the 1990s and the early 2000s, and you would think that Hollywood would have wanted to capitalize on her beauty and her success as a star by having her star in a romantic comedy with a black male lead. Now, one of Halle Berry's biggest hits was the movie Boomerang, which starred Eddie Murphy, Robin Givens, and was directed by Reginald Hudlin. And this film went on to make over $100 million at the box office. However, Hollywood didn't seek to capitalize on the success of Boomerang by featuring another romantic comedy with a all-black cast that had Halle Berry as the love interest. And that was one of those things that basically baffled me because in the early 1990s, we were in a period where certain trends were going on. One trend was that we were in the golden age of black cinema, and people were eager to see a film featuring black on black love. And two, we were in the era of the romantic comedy, which basically started when the 1990 film Pretty Woman, starring Julia Roberts, went on to become one of the biggest films of 1990. And I always wondered why Hollywood movie studios never fast-tracked a romantic comedy featuring Halle Berry and a black male love interest to be greenlit. And that was one of those things that always puzzled me regarding the career of Halle Berry. I mean, you would think that with Halle Berry again starring in one of the biggest hits of 1992, Boomerang, with a black male love interest, Hollywood could have easily fast-tracked a script featuring her with a black male lead, considering the fact that her contemporaries, such as Denzel Washington, Wesley Snipes, and were in their prime and basically were considered to be bankable male stars. This would have been an easy opportunity to create a romantic comedy featuring Halle Berry and a black male love interest that could have done well at the box office. I mean, the only romantic comedy that I've seen Halle Berry star in was the film Strictly Business, and that film was made on a very low budget, and it wasn't really written that well, but the whole thing is it did feature a black man and a black woman, and it's considered to be one of the better romantic comedies of the 1990s, but I always thought that a romantic comedy featuring Halle Berry and one of the A-list black males could have been a huge hit on the level of some of the bigger romantic comedies that went on in the 1990s that starred many of Halle Berry's non-black and white contemporaries, such as Julia Roberts, such as Cameron Diaz, and such as Jennifer Lopez. All three of those women went on to star in many of the biggest romantic comedies of the 1990s and went on to become box office stars that were extremely bankable in romantic comedies and went on to become fan favorites of many men and women. Men who wanted to see these actresses as women they wanted to date, and women who aspired to be like those women. And I always, again, wondered why they never put Halle Berry in the same type of category as women like Julia Roberts, Jennifer Lopez, or Cameron Diaz, and later on in the 2000s, even like actresses like Sanaa Lathan, who starred in Love and Basketball, and later on in the 2000s. I always wondered why Hollywood never wanted to put Halle Berry in a romantic comedy with a black male love interest and never wanted to create that great black love story the same way they did with many other romantic comedies in the 1990s like Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride, movies like There's Something About Mary, and many other romantic comedies like Made in Manhattan. I mean, all these movies went on to become blockbusters for Hollywood that featured women like Julia Roberts and women like Cameron Diaz and Jennifer Lopez. I mean, these movies basically became big hits. I mean, I remember the success of Runaway Bride, which brought Richard Gere and Julia Roberts back together, but there was never any sort of effort to make a film that featured Halle Berry in a love story. And again, it just makes me scratch my head because Hollywood basically left hundreds of millions of dollars on the table, and I have to wonder why they would leave all those hundreds of millions of dollars at the table, because we clearly see that there was a black audience for a love story. Moreover, there was a general audience for a black love story, and Hollywood just didn't capitalize on it at all. Now, one of the things that some people want to speculate for them not making that kind of movie was that they said, oh, these films wouldn't do well at the international box office, but I have to call BS on that because two of the books that I wrote back in the 2000s, The Recipe for Success and a book I did called Spinsterella, did very well as romances globally, and from that success, I see that there is an audience in foreign audiences for a black romance, and I see that there's an audience for a black romance, and again, have to wonder why they never featured Halle Berry in a film with a black male love interest, but instead looked to feature her in films that were like thrillers or films like these action movies or like ensemble casts like X-Men, or or a film like Monsters Ball, which really wasn't about black love but was about self-hatred. I mean, I have to wonder why they had Halle star in these roles and why she would pick these kind of roles instead of going for something that would be very bankable and not really cost a lot of money like many of these romantic comedies. I mean, I look at the careers of Cameron Diaz, who basically went on to become one of the most bankable stars in all of Hollywood by just starring in romantic comedies that basically cost anywhere from $40 to about $50 million max, and these films went on to make $200-300 million at the box office and made Cameron Diaz one of the most bankable stars for about 15 to 20 years. And I also look at Julia Roberts, who basically made a career out of these kind of romantic comedies and went on to again have great success. Same thing for even Jennifer Lopez, who basically starred in movies like Made in Manhattan and another movie she did a couple of years ago where she's talking about getting a second chance in life, that romantic comedy. But I sit there, I look at Halle Berry's resume, and I don't see that romantic comedy on her resume that would have made her a bankable star. Yes, she got an Oscar for Monsters Ball, but that Oscar really didn't help her career at all, because after she got that Oscar for Monsters Ball, she went on to star in mediocre films like Gothica and films like the 2004 Catwoman that she thinks is some sort of success, but she doesn't have that one movie that basically resonates with people like her early movies like Boomerang and Strictly Business, and didn't build on that base of black men that basically wanted to see her in a love story. That was where I thought as one of the biggest mistakes of Halle Berry's career was never having that romantic comedy that could have basically cemented her as one of the biggest stars. I mean, her career basically is just completely inconsistent with, again, a lot of films that are out here. They're okay movies, but there just is nothing there that really is like her early career. And again, I wonder why there is no black romantic comedy in Halle Berry's resume or series of black romantic comedies, because that could have been the thing that could have, again, made her into a serious icon that would have made her on the level of her contemporaries. And that's where I have to see where where white supremacy steps in, because when it comes to white supremacy, they don't really want you to see black love, and the media arm of white supremacy is never about elevating the black man and the black woman's image to be something where you can see a black man or a black woman loving each other. That is possibly one of the reasons why we never got that romantic comedy featuring Halle Berry at the side of a male love interest such as a Denzel Washington or Wesley Snipes or even a Will Smith. I mean, I just find it interesting. Again, here we had some of the most bankable black men out here, and she never starred at the side of them as a love interest. But we got a whole bunch of other different films, and we don't get that love story featuring a black man and a black woman. And really sad that we only got it during the golden age of black cinema. But as the 90s and the 2000s went on, we didn't get this because, again, I believe that the media arm of white supremacy, which is what Hollywood is a part of, didn't want us to see an image of the world's most beautiful black woman as considered by the world standard on the arm of a black man. But they could go out here and make a film watching the world's most beautiful black woman be degraded by a white man such as Billy Bob Thornton, and that's perfectly fine. Moreover, we could see one of the world's most beautiful black women constantly playing losers and playing failures in films like Gothica and Bruised and other films, but we could never see a beautiful black woman or the world's most beautiful black woman by the world standard playing a successful winner. That's one of the sad tragedies of Hollywood as related to it being a part of the media arm of white supremacy, is that it didn't look to elevate black beauty. No, it looked to degrade black beauty by trying to show us a black woman basically as a loser. Meanwhile, her white and non-black contemporaries like Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz, and Jennifer Lopez, they could go out here and play women who were considered to be winners. They could go out here and play women who could be successful. They could play women who could go out here and look to pursue a man. They could go out here and have a white male love interest, but when it came down to the black woman, she's not able to be seen as a woman who is loved, who is desired, who is wanted, who is cared for. And that is the saddest part about the 1990s and the early 2000s, is that we never got that opportunity to see Halle Berry in that romantic comedy, co-starring with her contemporaries such as Wesley Snipes or Denzel Washington or Will Smith, or even in the 2000s with guys like Jamie Foxx or Cuba Gooding Jr. That's the whole sad tragedy of Hollywood in the 90s, is we never got to see that kind of romantic comedy. I mean, it's sad that, again, actors who are on a lower level like Lorenz Tate could go out here and star in one of the great black romances in Love Jones, and Sanaa Lathan could star in Love and Basketball, but the A-list black actress in Halle Berry never got that movie where she could be the love interest of a man and show black love. I mean, it's sad that when you think about the idea of black romance, you either get a rare film like a Boomerang or a Strictly Business or a Love and Basketball, or on the other side of the spectrum, we get What's Love Got to Do With It, which shows abuse of a black woman. And it's sad because, again, two of our great actors in Lawrence Fishburne and Angela Bassett were in that film, but we never got to see them in a love story where they could love each other. And it's what's even sadder is the only thing we've got as related to romance is these Tyler Perry movies in the mainstream. I mean, guys like me, I can write romances, but again, it's just hard to get people to look at black people and see other black people as people who should be loved and desired. That is the saddest part about Hollywood and film as related to the black image, is that we don't see black love. And what's even sadder is again, you had one of the world's most beautiful black women in Halle Berry, and we never got to see her in a beautiful love story where she would be seen as loved and considered desirable by a heterosexual black man. Now, if you want to check out my romances on the SJS Direct imprint, you can pick up the books such as A Recipe for Success, Esteem the Sands of Time, Spinsterella, and The Temptation of John Haynes. All four of those books are black romances that feature black love, and you can find them all on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos about the entertainment industry, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, E-Steam The Sands of Time. It's action and adventure in ancient Egypt in this terrific teen time travel romance. Get your copy of E-Steam The Sands of Time at your favorite online bookseller today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today. Support black-owned and black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.